You probably wouldn't know it, but Gaza is rich. Gas rich. At least 1.4 trillion cubic feet rich, to be precise.
Hey, happy holidays. It is Black Friday, and I'm getting ready to give you a montage that explains what's going on in Gaza. How there are moneyed interests that have been around since the 40s when they discovered huge deposits of oil and gas underneath the ground that they're fighting for now. And rather than peacefully coexist, they chose to expel the indigenous people. Like what happened here in America when the American Indians were genocided. Yeah, that's what's happening in Gaza, so the West can control the land and gain access to the resources under the ground.
Were there not an Israel, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel to protect her interest in the region.
And we will never, ever, ever abandon Israel out of our own self-interest.
Geologists and natural resources economists have confirmed that the occupied Palestinian territory lies above sizable reservoirs of oil and natural gas wealth in Area C of the occupied West Bank and the Mediterranean coast off the Gaza Strip. To date, the real and opportunity costs of the occupation exclusively in the area of oil and natural gas have accumulated to tens, if not hundreds of billions of dollars.
And we will never abandon Israel out of our own self-interest.
Zionism is a political ideology.
Christian Zionism goes back before Jewish Zionism. God said that the Jews have to go back to Palestine, land of Israel. Okay, we've got to do it.
And there are many Jews who are not Zionists.
Just to reiterate out there, everyone, Zionist does not equal Jew. In fact, there are more Zionists who are not Jewish than there are Jews in the world. And there are many anti-Zionist Jews, like the two you're watching right now.
So it's a political ideology.
So when you hear the word Zionist, do not think Jewish people, and don't use the word Zionist to mean Jewish people.
By the way, there are many non-Jews who are Zionists.
Were there not an Israel, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel to protect her interest in the region.
Biden also continued to reject a ceasefire in Gaza and called for a two-state solution.
Of course you can critique it. Of course you can critique the Israeli government without being an anti-Semite.
And we will never, ever, ever abandon Israel out of our own self-interest.
You eliminate the population and you settle it. The United States is a settler colonial society. That's a special form of imperialism. If you don't just rule the colony, like say the British in India, but you eliminate the population and you settle it.
What does it mean to defend oneself? We have a Department of Defense in this country. We haven't defended ourselves since the advent of this country, right? We are an offensive force. Right. The empire is an offensive force. Israel is an offensive force. It is an occupying force. As an occupying force, you don't have a right to defend yourself. Not legally and also not morally. But you don't have to start with that.
Well, what's Israel? It's a settler colonial society. I suspect that resonates with Americans. They're doing what we did, so it's got to be something right about it, because we did it, you know.
Since the advent of this country, we are an offensive force. Right. The empire is an offensive force. Israel is an offensive force. It is an occupying force. It exports violence, right? So there is no defense that we're talking about here. When you come in and you steal people's land, there is no defense in that. That is not a defensive action.
Zionism is a political ideology.
I mean, Christian Zionism goes back before Jewish Zionism. God said that the Jews have to go back to Palestine, land of Israel. Okay, we've got to do it. This is a strong element in high-level U.S. policy. Then there's the popular base, like evangelical Christianity, mostly incidentally since about 1950.
Right before Brown v. Board of Education and Rosa Parks' infamous bus riot. And that's also exactly when the desire for a white ethno-state, Christian Zionism, began. Where this time the Indians are gone, but you've got a whole bunch of black people to eradicate, kind of like what's happening to the Palestinians, all because of Zionism, the desire for a white ethno-state. that isn't evil, I don't know what is. Because if you think about it, Zionism only exists because of the contributions of black men, the ones that Christian Zionists are trying to exterminate. In my next video, I'll explain how the Tuskegee Airmen and Patton's 761st Tank Battalion alone are responsible for changing the fate of the Jewish people in captivity. Because Hitler was going to win. Hitler was going to win until these black soldiers got involved. So how can the Holocaust survivors who called these black liberators saviors now want to erase us, like they're doing to the Palestinians only here in the US, in the name of Christian Zionism, which has no room for the very people responsible for Israel's existence? That's a paradox, indeed, killing your own savior.